Reading one.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight is Wednesday, November 19th. It is 7 p.m. and we are convening our final meeting for 2025 of the Mililani-Waipi'o Melemanu Neighborhood Board. And welcome all of you. I'd like to invite you all to begin this meeting with us by standing if you are able so that we can recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we got an action-packed agenda tonight. I'm thankful that so many folks came and are online. Just as a friendly reminder, this is a hybrid meeting, so we will be entertaining and welcoming responses from the public, from the community, and our board members. All I ask is that you raise your hand so that I can recognize you. For those online, please mute your computers so that we don't have feedback. I will recognize individuals in the room as well as online. I try to go back and forth quite regularly so that we have a fluid and efficient hybrid meeting. Without further ado, I'd like to recognize our neighborhood assistant, Rachel Cristobal, so that she can take the roll call and we can establish quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. When I call your name, please let me know if you're present. Bass?
Present.
Thank you. Hermati? Oh, I see you online and you're on
Yeah,
mute, but I
present
call-
online. Yeah.
Thank you. Flores?
Present.
Present. Freed?
Here online.
Thank you. Gustafin?
Here.
Thank you. Inouye?
Present.
Thank you. Kaanehe? Absent. Kaapana Aki? Absent. Kim? Present. Kennard?
Present online.
Thank you. Pupuka'a? Absent. Darsha Lee?
Present online.
Thank you. Marilyn Lee? Absent. Nagamine? Not here. Alex Ozawa?
Present online.
Thank you. Catherine Ozawa?
Present.
Thank you. Park?
Present online.
Thank you. Rana? Not here. Ross?
Present.
Present. Segura? Present. Smart? I see her online. Thank you. Cersina? I saw him online, but I'll come back afterwards. Williams?
Present online.
Okay, I think that's Cersina and Williams. Thank you.
Online.
So I have 17 members present.
Please repeat how many?
17.
17. Okay, so we have quorum. We're going to jump in right into monthly reports. I see that HFD is here. Welcome. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Marrero from the Mililani Fire Station. These are the incident statistics for the month of October. For structure fires, we had 1 structure fire, 1 wildland or brush fire, 6 nuisance calls, 7 activated alarms, which were not fires. For emergencies, we had 71 medical emergencies, 1 motor vehicle collision with a pedestrian, 2 motor vehicle collisions or crashes, and 1 hazardous materials incident. Our fire safety tip for the month is about cooking safety. Food has a unique way of bringing family and friends together, especially during the holidays, and cooking can be a relaxing activity. However, it is important to be aware that cooking fires are the leading cause of home fires and home injuries. By following a few safety tips, you can prevent these dangerous situations. Stay alert while cooking. If you are sleepy or have consumed alcohol, avoid using the stove or stovetop. Always stay in the kitchen while cooking. Never leave the stove and heated appliances unattended. Use a timer to remind yourself to check on your food regularly. Keep combustible items like oven mitts, wooden utensils, food packaging, and towels away from your stovetop. Keep children and pets at least 3 feet away from cooking fires. Are there any questions?
Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Honolulu Fire Department tonight? Please raise your hand. Seeing and hearing none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, HPD, welcome.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Lieutenant Scott Vieira with the Waipi'o Police Station. I'm on the night watch. I'll go ahead and read the stats for the last month. Excuse me. There were 4 assaults. There were 0 robberies. There was 1 burglary. There were 12 UEMVs or vehicles that were broken into. And there were a total of 30 motor vehicle collisions. Total calls for service was 927. I'll go into the safety tip. You know, the holidays are upon us. I just have a few holiday safety travel tips. Some of them I might have mentioned before in other tips, but it's worth mentioning again. If you're going to go, share your itinerary with trusted friends or family in case something happens or need to get in touch with you or know where you are. Research your destination, find out about local laws, customs, any common scams or current events occurring there. Know the phone number for emergency services. Enroll in any safety or alert program so that you are well informed in case of an emergency. And keep digital copies of your documents just in case unfortunate event you end up getting lost or you don't have them. You have it on your phone. That helps sometimes you get back home. While traveling, be alert and aware. Stay vigilant, especially in crowded areas. Always secure your belongings. Wear any purse in front of you and keep your bags within view. Use hotel safes to store your valuables. And try not to post. I know it's hard. My kids do this all the time. But when you're away and you post all of these places that you're at, it kind of lets people know that your house is vacant. So just something to think about. That's all I have.
Thank you, Lieutenant Vieira. Members of the board, members of the community, are there any questions for HPD tonight? Ed, go ahead.
Thank you for being here this evening, officer. You know, my neighbors were kind of concerned, and on, I think it's November 7th, we received a notification from crimemapping.com in the Lower Mililani area, and there was a rape. So that's hate to say it, but several homes from my house. And it happened something like 10:30 in the morning. Do you know if there's a arrest made or if there's somebody lurking out there?
I'm sorry, I don't have information on that
Okay.
particular case.
No problem.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but you got a notification from the crime mapping. He signed up for the alert.
Yeah. We got the notification.
Okay. I think those notifications are, that a case was generated, not necessarily an arrest, but I'm sorry, I don't have any.
No
further information
problem.
on that.
Because, I told him, we just don't know what happened. I mean, it's very vague
Yeah,
at
very
this point.
concerning when you hear
Right,
that
very
in your neighborhood.
concerning. But, it could have been a domestic or something like that or a sex assault, but it,
Yes.
depends how it's classified. But thank you very much.
Okay, are there any other board members or members of the community who have any questions for HPD tonight? Not seeing any, but Lieutenant, since this is our last meeting going into the holiday season, I just want to preemptively thank you for all the work HPD will be doing in our community during this holiday time and making sure that our homes and our residents are safe. So just want to thank you for that. And if there's anything our board can do to help support Honolulu Police Department, please let us know.
I appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, no, I know we're in recess, but if you guys have any questions, concerns, I work nights at the Waipi'o Police Station. You guys can call, leave me a message. If not, just call and leave a message, ask for a supervisor. If they don't get back to you guys, like I said, just ask for a supervisor. But
Great,
I don't want
great.
to.
And we'll see you in the new year.
Happy holidays, everyone. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up we have U.S. Army Combat Aviation Brigade 25th ID. Do we have a representative online? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to the Board of Water Supply. Is there a representative from the Board of Water Supply here tonight? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we're going to move on to the approval of meeting minutes. I'd like to recognize our board secretary, Secretary Gustafson.
Minutes from the October 22nd regular meeting were sent out. I didn't receive any corrections or amendments. Are there any currently? If not, I move to approve.
Rachel for the vote?
Second.
Okay. So is there anybody that wanted to make any amendments? Since we didn't hear anything, the minutes has been approved as written. Thank you.
Minutes are approved. We're going to move on to community concerns at this point in time on our agenda. Is there a community member who would like to come forward and express any comment or concern within decorum on a matter that is not on the agenda before us? Please limit your comments for 3 minutes. Please raise your hand. Sierra Martin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Aloha, and thank you for having me, members of the board and the community. I'm Sierra Martin. I'm here to represent Kealoha West Oahu Homeless Outreach Department. I just have a short report to give for the area for the month of October. We had encountered 62 unsheltered individuals. 24 of them were service resistant, but we also received 10 community concern reports for the area. And we also have a total of 23 households containing 28 people that newly joined our program. In addition to that, we also have 5 households that are currently on the wait list awaiting placement for a housing program. And so far, the only announcement that we have for this month is that we are hiring. So I will be sending, or I believe we're going to be posting the job listing everywhere. I do not have an email available at the moment to send resumes, but it is just resume. You can give us a call to get more information on that. Phone number 808-728-5034. And that is all that I have tonight.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Appreciate that. Are
Thank
there any other individuals who would like to come forward to express any comments or concern that on a matter that's not on this agenda tonight? Please raise your hand. Okay, seeing and hearing none. We're going to move on to presentations. First up, we have 2 presentations tonight. First will be a presentation from the Hawaii School Facilities Authority and their contractor Pacific Housing Assistance Corporation. They're going to provide an update of a new location of the the update on a new location for the proposed teacher workforce housing project at MHS lower campus between Mahula Parkway and Anania Drive and the MHS football stadium. They're going to provide that presentation. We will follow that presentation with questions and answers. Following this, when we've adjourned that portion of the agenda, we will move on to a final presentation and discussion of our own park chair, Sabrina Gustafson's survey results for more dog-friendly parks in Mililani in accordance with city and county DPR. So that's the agenda of tonight. Take it away, Sherry.
All right. Aloha, Chair, board members. Sherry Nakamura from the Hawaii School Facilities Authority, or SFA. I have an exciting update this evening. Designing teacher workforce housing, like any other important project, requires listening and collaboration. I'm pleased that after hearing from the school staff and Mililani community, we are excited to be presenting the renderings of the project to this neighborhood board tonight. We are thrilled that Mililani will have the distinction of being the first community in the state to have a teacher housing project on school lands to help address the teacher recruitment and retention challenges facing our state. Ultimately, our keiki and our public schools will benefit. On behalf of SFA and the Pacific Housing Team, I would like to express my mahalo for all of your input. We have our team here tonight. From SFA, it is myself and Nathan Hokama, our communications specialist. And from Pacific Housing, we have Executive Director Audrey Awaya in person, Director of Project Development Karen Arakawa, and Development Project Manager Lacey Shimabukuro online, and Adam Moltag, partner at WRNS Studio, the project's architect. So I will hand it off to Audrey and Adam for the presentation, and we will stand by for questions after the presentation.
Thank you, Sherry. What a great introduction. So I have to be equally as great as her presentation. I'll give it a try. Well, present our project, the update to our project, and to present our design to all of you. And as a refresher, Pacific Housing Assistance Corporation, we are a Hawaii nonprofit corporation. We were formed in 1980, and we have developed over 60 projects throughout the state for kupuna families as well as persons with disabilities. We have done rental as well as homeownership housing. We have a 18-year presence in Mililani. We have a affordable rental housing project that we've operated and owned for 18 years in Mililani-Malka. We currently have a 140-unit workforce housing project that is under construction in Waikoloa, which should be completed early next year. And we're working on a disability-forward housing project in downtown Honolulu that will include workforce housing for our working families as well. In 2024, the DOE conducted an employee housing survey that received more than 9,600 responses, representing 43% of its full-time workforce. Of these respondents, 54%, or over 5,000 employees, expressed interest in workforce rental housing, with Mililani identified as the preferred location. Today, we are excited to present our preliminary project concept and design, which directly responds to the significant need and demand. Adam Moltag from WRNS Studio, our project architect, will walk you through how we arrived at our current design and highlight the key project features and planned amenities. We are still in the preliminary phase of our development. Therefore, we have not yet finalized many aspects of the project, including our cost, financing, or rents. Hey, take it away.
Thank you, Audrey. I'm Adam Moltag, design partner with WRNS Studio. Thrilled to be here tonight to present this project for all the right reasons. The mission itself and the purpose of this project is fantastic. But it also, as a mix of affordable housing and education, is something our practice does a lot of work with. We work with the DOE on a lot of their campuses across the state. And as Audrey said too, we work on a lot of affordable housing projects here. So this is like a combination of two things we're very, very passionate about. And thank you for your time tonight. Okay, next slide. So this is a view of the overall campus. And as you can see there, that boundary, that purple boundary, that is our site, right? And it is, for everyone that it may not be familiar with it, it is right off of the Parkway. It is right at the intersection of Anania and really at the driveway to the lower part of campus for the high school campus. As you can see, the location of this site is about as far away from the academic core of the campus, which is to the right, and it is located really on the peripheral of this campus, much closer to the very broad open spaces of all the athletic fields, and also across the street from the large church property on the other side of the Parkway. Next slide. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now zooming in a little bit more, you see the purple boundary of the site there. And I think it's really important to note that our whole approach to really kind of placing our boundary here was about taking advantage of really the inherent aspects of this site. So the boundary sits on the flattest portion of this area, right? And it tries to avoid all the steep portions that surround this site. As you know, the Parkway kind of moves downhill to the left, but this part of campus has this flat area, and that's where we're siting our housing development. We've also really compressed the site, and we've pulled our boundaries inward, away from the campus and away from the Parkway, over 30 feet, just as a reference point from those tennis courts, and over 35 feet from the curb along that Parkway. And that does a number of really great things for, I think, the campus, because it really gives back a lot of the land, usable land, to the school, right? And it allows us as a development team to compress this development and avoid any kind of interference with existing infrastructure. And most importantly, actually, it allows the campus to continue its growth path. I know Principal Fred, wish he was here tonight, but he has a really great plan to add lots of fantastic things to this campus. And what this site does and what our development footprint does is it gives back the most to this campus. So really, really excited about that. Next slide. So this is a conceptual plan of the development. You see the boundary line there, that dashed line that I was just speaking about. And what you see in blue are our building footprints. And our design approach here from the very beginning was to really try to break the massing up of a single building and instead organize it into two different wings connected by a bridge. So two different housing wings connected by a bridge. And what that's allowed us, and by the way, those housing wings are organized around a protected and secure courtyard for access by the residents, right? What it's also allowed us to do by kind of compressing this is to give the most open space to the site and the most open space along the parkway. Instead of one long building, that would really, we feel, dominate that parkway, by breaking it into two smaller bite-sized pieces, we feel that actually helps this building situate and right-size itself to the property. So really quickly, the access to the site, we are taking advantage of an existing curb cut along that parkway, right where that median breaks across from the driveway to the church property. Our driveway will move up onto the site. There'll be a loop drive with 3 smaller parking cartridges, not one large tarmac of parking. We didn't want that. So 3 smaller right-sized parking cartridges, and then the remainder of the site to open space. Next slide. So maybe touching a little bit on some of the project features here. There will be a total of 94 units. It'll be 4 stories of residences over parking. The 94 units will be broken into 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. There'll be about 156 parking spaces on site, which does exceed the LUO, just to state a fact here. And then one thing that's really important is, the amenities that we are offering to residents here. These didn't come out of thin air. Pacific Housing did a lot of great outreach to prospective teachers who, they would want to be here to find out what was important to them. And so we have spaces for them like, a small fitness center, a teacher's resource room, a community room, laundry lounges on each floor, on-site property management and maintenance, a secured perimeter, as well as an open courtyard to give them open space, protected open space for them at the end of the day. Next slide. So now leaning a little bit into design and some of the character that we're starting to look at here. Again, this is conceptual, but we wanted to share this with you. It's really our intent that the design draw inspiration from its place, from Mililani, and from the design guidelines that the town actually has as their basis of design. So from a landscape perspective, we're really, really intrigued with the pine trees that make their way here, the cook pines, the verticality of these, and there's so many of them on campus now, so we want to incorporate them onto our property as well. They're beautiful, and they kind of do say you're in Mililani. We want a ground plane in that courtyard I was just mentioning of really a native landscape, which inherently, if it's native and we pick the right plants, it'll be low water, and they'll actually be low maintenance over time. So we're thinking about that. And then when it comes to the architecture, we're thinking about really drawing from single family residential detailing, siding, and character. So that would be lap siding, shingles, board and batten, things like that to clad the facades of the building, right? So draws from that because we like the way it plays with light, the character. And again, it starts to reach back to context of Mililani. And then I like decoration. Not too many people in my office do, but I do. And I think there's opportunity to bring in decoration. I know that's a funny word, But we will have site fences, we will have gates, and those are opportunity to bring a little bit of delight to the project and make it stand out and make it unique and a wonderful place for residents. And then finally, just on color, we'll definitely draw from the color palette, the approved color palette from the Mililani design guidelines. Next slide. Okay, now we're going to look at some of the first conceptual renderings here. This is a view from the parkway looking up, so looking Mauka, and you're really getting a sense of this, of the broadness of the parkway, the big space of that parkway. And on the left, you see the driveway from the existing curb cut leading up to what is the front of the building. You see that with that kind of warm red element. Our whole design approach here was to look at organizing the facades of this building in vertical bands, vertical bays. We didn't want to accentuate the horizontal here because we felt that was just going to accentuate the length of the building. So our design approach is to break the facade up into vertical bands, vertical bays, which might be as wide as a unit, a residential unit. It could be as wide as a room in a residential unit. But we think that verticality is going to bring texture, a play of light, and again, to break up a monotonous flat facade, which we don't want, into something that's much more scalable and much more in tune, we think, with the character of what we're trying to achieve. No big blank facades is kind of our motto here. Next slide. And this is a view looking down the parkway. And you can see a building sits in, and this is right at the entrance to the main campus entry there where the tennis courts are, the lower campus entry there at Anania. And now you're looking at the building as if you're driving down that parkway. And again, the big spaces here that this building will occupy. And you get a chance to see the verticality of those bays. And you also see that a little bit of that courtyard on the right side of that kind of warm vertical bar there, and the one-story community building that sits within that courtyard. And then you start to see the campus wing off to the right. Next slide. And then finally, we wanted to bring you to the interior of this courtyard space that we're really, really excited about. This is a courtyard space that first and foremost is secure. It's where residents can feel comfortable bringing their children, their families. It'd be a multi-use space, a space designed to support play, gatherings, informal and informal social gatherings. And then you see at the back of the courtyard, anchoring that space is a one-story building facing the school, which contains some of the amenity. It could be their gym, it could be their community room, but this is really kind of the heart of the development, right? That brings everyone together. And with that, I'll hand it back to Audrey.
It's kind of hard to see, but we just kind of summarized our next development milestones. And based on our current project schedule, we anticipate that educators occupying their apartments in the summer of 2029. So just in time for the new school year. And periodic project updates will be provided to the neighborhood board and will also be available on SFA's and Pacific Housing's websites. Information from our presentation today will be available soon on our website, pacific-housing.org. Mahalo for allowing us to provide this update to you today. And we have members of our team joining virtually who will help us answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. First off, let's just start with that. Thank you for listening to the Mililani community. Thanks for reading our resolution and relocating this project from a very difficult location for the Mililani community to the preferred location the Mililani community wanted in the lower campus area so that we could mitigate and reduce traffic tension at Ho'okelewa'a. Thank you for hearing us. And as I've always stated with the Hawaii Schools Facility Authority, as they've had their various agenda items on our agenda, is that this is a working relationship with the Mililani community, the DOE, the SFA, and Pacific Housing. This is a long-term relationship for all of us. So thank you for being here tonight and showing us these renderings. I know a lot of our board members and members of the community are excited to see this. With that, I'd like to open it up for questions. Please raise your hand, members of the board, members of the community. What I'm going to ask is that we stop sharing the screen so that I can see those individuals online. And I'm going to start with Dennis, followed by Sabrina, then Kate.
Mine is very simple. Thank you for the presentation. Very enlightening. Secondly is I saw the entrance to the housing project. Is that going to be a in out or just an in and then come out on Anania Drive?
Thank you for the question. So yeah, the plan we just showed, that'll be an in and an out. Yeah, yeah.
Sabrina.
Thank you. What a beautifully designed building. I had a couple of questions regarding the building itself. You talked about a bridge going across in between the two buildings. Is that a bridge on every floor, or is that just certain floors would have a bridge?
Our design incorporates a bridge at every floor, a connection at every floor.
Okay. My concern with that is if we're looking at safety, if a tenant has keys to one building, a tenant has keys to another building. So maybe safety wise, that's not the best thing to do. My second question is my understanding is it's 4 plus a garage, so 5 stories total, correct?
Correct.
Was there any thought into giving a dig out of the area to make the top story 3 levels in line with the high school so that it doesn't stick out 2 levels above the high school height?
In terms of taking a whole story off the building and
No,
and
digging
oh,
like
digging underground.
underground to
Oh.
bring this whole building down a story or 2 stories to match the high school height.
You know, it's a great suggestion. I think going below grade would increase the cost per stall. It would be incredibly prohibitive. I think so. That was one of the reasons it wasn't considered, as well as a lot of water issues, you know, concern about flooding and things like that. And so I think that the surface grade parking strategy that we have is very efficient. It's cost effective. It's also really safe. You know, it's easy to navigate. It's naturally ventilated, right? Which is great. So when you go below grade, all of a sudden it kicks in or can kick in mechanical ventilation and things like that. Safety issues always come around when you start to put parking below grade. And so we think this is, you know, our design kind of responds in a way that would alleviate those concerns.
And then my last thing was regarding the ingress egress. Is that going to be a stoplight?
There's no plans for a signal at the location right now.
Right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Right, Kate.
You had mentioned that you did have a property up in Mililani-Waipi'o. May I wonder why past tense? Why? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Like, so that's what our audience can hear.
No, we're still involved in that. Yeah.
But to clarify, that's not a school facilities authority project.
No, it's not a school facilities authority project. Yeah.
What type of facility is that?
It's a affordable rental
Uh-huh.
in Mililani-Waipi'o called the
Okay.
Courtyards at Mililani-Waipi'o.
Thank you. Further questions, members and members of the community? Skylar, followed by Becky, and then Ed.
Sorry. So, I know you're a mainland-based company. Where are you guys going to be getting your materials, and where are you guys going to be getting your contractors from? Are we rejected to stay local, or are we bringing everything from the mainland? Is what my question is.
Yeah. Well, we're a local firm. We have offices here in Kaka'ako. We've been here for over a decade practicing. Doing
Okay.
a lot of work with the DOE and a lot of work in across the state, different islands, affordable housing, a lot of affordable housing and market.
Okay.
So we work with local builders all the time. We have a great local builder here who will be really in charge of buying the project, all the materials, right? And so, you know, that will be in their purview about where those materials come and how they procure them. Yeah.
And then next question I had was, you said that they were going to have a certain amount of stalls. If you minus 1 stall per household, you're looking at 62 extra stalls. Are you guys looking at projecting out to allow each individual house to purchase an additional stall, or are all those stalls going to just be already pre-assigned and you're not going to be able to switch any of those stalls to make additional funds on top of your rent?
Currently, generally our rule of thumb is to have one stall per one bedroom and have two stalls for the two bedrooms. So we wanted to, provide enough parking stalls. And I guess and for visitors, and once we kind of run out of parking stalls, we will then could assign it to others if there are available stalls. But we wanted to make sure that we had a lot of stalls because there's no on-street, parking in that area, and we didn't want people parking in the neighborhoods. So that was a priority for us to have a lot of parking.
So regarding the parking stalls and overall security, I
Mhm.
know you said security a lot, but it wasn't really explained what it is. So my question is, are you looking at putting a fence around to separate the actual property from this high school? How does that alleviate with the secondary entrance that you guys have that are attached to the gym side? Are we going to have local on-site security? Is there going to be a local on-site property management team, or are you guys going to do everything off-site? How is that going to be related, and how are we separating the affordable housing section from this school to separate not only the kids from these teachers and individuals, but also the individuals and stuff like that from being responded from?
Right. That's a concern that we hear a lot about. We intend to fence the entire project. There will be a few stalls that would be outside the fenced area. And that would be primarily visitor stalls. The project will be managed by a local professional property management firm. And we're going to have an on-site resident manager that will be there, that will live there. And security, we're hoping Mililani is one of the safest neighborhoods in the county that we won't need a security guard. But we'll put the cameras and all of that. And now with technology, if you put cameras, you can use AI that can be monitored remotely and could give alerts to the on-site staff as well as staff that's not living there. So there's all these different measures that we take. And we'd have to see and discuss this with the property manager on what's the best method of dealing with security. But certainly it'll be fenced.
So
I'm going to just jump in here for context. If just to give you some historical background, Audrey.
Okay.
Thank you for the compliment to the Mililani community that it's relatively safe.
Right.
It's a major concern. So to me, I stay up at night always worrying about Mililani safety as well as this board. It was very prevalent in 2023 where we had very high amount of violent crime, and it was unusual for our community. So much so that this board had to take action. We passed a resolution on that, and we have been rebuilding that relationship with HPD. Earlier tonight, HPD was here. I have thanked them for their increased presence. It's been a concern to our board that they need to actually increase presence. For context, Mililani community is included in sub-district or in District 2 for HPD, and that ranges from all of North Shore to Kaena Point, Wahiawa, Waialua, and Mililani. And we have of course, HPD has limitations with the officers, right? They are constantly trying to recruit 400 officers, and there is a massive shortage, but we have a very small beat. And so our board has also even asked through a resolution and asked our city council member for a substation here because community safety is such a concern here. So thank you. Yes, that is something that many of our residents are worried about. I wouldn't rely on our current safety record. It's something that we're constantly advocating to continue that safety. So it might be a consideration for you and SFA that there might need to be additional security. But I just wanted to jump in there for clarity, just so that you're aware.
Yeah, thank you for that information.
Okay.
We weren't aware of it. Right?
Thank you. Done? Okay. Becky, could you please approach the public microphone, introduce yourself for the record, and direct your questions to the board, and SFA and Pacific Housing will answer.
Okay, I had a couple of questions. One is he did address the parking really well. Great questions. That was several of mine. How many guest stalls? Well, because again, he counted out the stalls and how many, and very few people, if a married couple goes into a one bedroom, so you're assuming they'll be single. Okay, that's an assumption that's being made with one parking stall per one bedroom unit. The majority, based on the family community that you keep talking about, they will be two people. So that's two cars. People in Mililani don't bus that much. Forgive me for anyone who does, but I don't. So I think I'm a property manager, so I know the community and I know what they need. And so we're short quite a few stalls. And then I asked for about guest stalls, because if you've got all your units, 94 units, I believe you said, you know, those people start having guests, where are they going to go? So that's a concern for the community as a whole. The in and out is when you go out, can you cross over? You're not going to go across the median. They can only turn right when they go out, correct?
Yes, you're going to speak on the mic.
I believe they can go both ways. We do have a traffic study that's going to be happening to kind of help us make that determination on safety and congestion, but I believe they can go both ways.
Okay, what?
This is information we will find out in a draft
Yeah,
environmental
because that's
assessment.
really important. If you don't put a light there, it will be a constant accident, guaranteed. And if you say they can only turn right, like the post office, which is right next to it, you can only come out and go to the post office and go right. People turn and try to make U-turns at the bottom at the stoplight, and it's illegal. So, you know, not to say people don't do it, but that's a concern. So that is something real important. I think it should be stated that they can only turn right. Okay, unless you're going to put a light. And then we just got another light on the street. And then an on-site resident manager. Will they be daytime, nighttime, or you don't know those things yet? Because as she said, the night is when it's due. So are you going to provide a unit for an on-site full-time property manager that will live on site? Okay, so they'll be there at night. That's good. Thank you again, as Danielle said, for listening to us the first time, because as Sherry knows, I was at every single meeting. And we're greatly pleased that it was moved down the hill. Okay, but I have a couple of concerns, and I'll just state they're not questions, they're just concerns I have. And one is I am concerned at the 5-story building. Okay, nothing in Mililani is 5 stories. Okay, it'll be the tallest building. It can affect the privacy of the local area for people. And you know, you're saying that you wanted this to be, or Mililani, because it was safe and it's a good neighborhood and all those things, and it looks good and you've got all these things. But then and so you wanted that for your flagship work housing program, but it affects everybody else who already lives there, and it's not conforming to what makes Mililani. And so that's something I'm really sad about. And I'd really like to know how our elected officials of Senators Dela Cruz and Kidani thinks this is right, and not only allowed it to happen, but support it. Shame on them.
Just thank you, Becky, for your input. As always, we appreciate everybody's input and voice. You know, we want to hear your concerns. We're going to try as best as we can to address as much as possible. But thank you for coming out, especially to let us hear your concerns and your comments. Mahalo.
Ed.
Oh, thank you for being here. I like the rendition, really nice. And yeah, I think Member Ross had a question about fencing, and I think you addressed that. And I believe that with the addition of 94 more units here, I think it's going to help our local economy within Mililani. So, you know, our restaurants will thrive by that also, you know, our shopping centers. But yeah, thank you very much for being here this evening.
Okay, are there any other questions in person and online? I see Emil has his hand up. He's been very patient. Emil, followed by Martina. Anyone? Emil, followed by Martina. Go ahead, Emil.
You hear me well?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Thank you. No, I just kind of follow up on what Miss Becky, I think was her name, was saying about the architectural uniqueness of this building. I personally don't like it, but I wonder if the MTA did give you some special permit for this type of structure, because I personally had difficulty to put a little section on my house, which was flat roof. So I wonder if this was permitted, and if you have any plans to do something with the flat roof. I don't know, maybe garden, or if you want to cover it. Like even the Mililani Center, there are not flat roofs there either. So really, it doesn't stand out for this community. It's kind of standing out completely. That's all. I yield.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for your comment. On the roof issue, we think that the right strategy is to try to keep the overall height of this building as low as we can, right, and not go much higher. When you start to look at gabled roofs or hip roofs, you start to increase the overall height of the building and presence of it. And so the design strategy and our approach that we have is to try to keep things low, work with a very efficient parapet, right, that protects visually what's happening on the roof, but at the same time keeps the overall height of the building at its most efficient. And so we think there's ways to, I hate to use the word play, but play with the height of this parapet to get some visual interest, so it's not a consistent eave line that a lot of buildings would have if you have a hip roof. But you could still get variation in the height, and really start to think about how the building meets the sky as you're moving along the park. When you look up, and you don't see a straight line, but you're seeing a line that starts to dance across the site, and again play with shade and shadow. And that was the approach we decided to take, as opposed to increasing the elevation of the building.
So what about the MTA permit? Did they allow it?
I'll jump in there. My understanding, Emil, is that this is a state agency, the Hawaii School Facilities Authority, working on DOE state property. They're going to encumber that property as their own. And so that DOE and SFA do not need to follow Mililani Town Association design and guidelines, is my understanding. Is that correct, Sherry?
Wow.
It's my understanding too, because it's on state property.
Okay, that's kind of unfortunate. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Martina, you have a question?
Yes. What's the purpose for the building to building bridges? We don't have snow. Yeah.
The purpose of the building to building connection?
Yeah.
Oh, the walkways.
Yes.
So they connect both wings of the building to vertical circulation to the elevator.
Okay. And is your EA going to cover the mitigation of the reduction in student parking on campus? Because student parking will overflow to surrounding neighborhoods.
So we realize that the site currently is a student parking lot. So we're in discussion with Principal Murphy in relocating some of that parking space. We're looking at behind the tennis court. There's space in between, I guess it's a tennis court. There's, I don't know if it's a softball field, but there is open space there where we're trying to relocate the parking spaces. It would be a different entranceway, but hopefully it'll be closer to like the football field. So if people park there, they're not going to have to walk as far as they do now.
Is that like discussion going to be included in the EA?
No, I don't believe so. The EA is just looking at the current project site, which was highlighted in the presentation.
And I recently visited the Kelsey in San Francisco. It's a beautiful development. I'm wondering, it's ADA accessible for those who don't know.
Can you speak more into the microphone?
For those that don't know. So I'm wondering if you as the developer or design manager are going to incorporate ADA accessible features into this development.
Thank you for that. We appreciate the comment on the Kelsey. We were the architects of the Kelsey, and so it was a affordable housing and supportive housing development in downtown San Francisco. So here, I mean, for us, good design is accessible design. You know, it's designed for everybody. And so, you know, our intention is that these units are places that people can stay no matter what their necessary abilities are. So that's included really in what we want to bring forward here. So it's accessible to people that are mobile and others that may be not as mobile.
And last one, are the units going to include AC, and are you going to incorporate solar and other carbon environmental features?
No, we're taking turns, I guess. It's my turn. We didn't anticipate putting AC, certainly ceiling fans, but with the option of allowing whoever wanted to install AC in their units to provide their own.
Sorry, one more on that. It's follow up. Without AC, are you gonna face windows and openings to catch drafts in the area?
So the way the design is starting to take shape, we're looking at its ceiling fans. We're looking at operable windows in every room, occupiable room. We have an open corridor, so it can accept the breezes. And the way the buildings are oriented, they're kind of oriented toward Mauka. It's almost like, I hate to use the word funnel, but it's really there to kind of maximize as much of the trade wind exposure to the facades of the building. And we think that right away is going to take care of most of thermal comfort issues here. Yeah.
That was my last one. Thank you.
Before we proceed with more questions, I would like to, for clarification, Sherry, could you explain and remind us the working relationship the SFA has with the DOE in relation to anything that is displaced on the campus, that the SFA would have to work with the DOE to restore that displacement? So in essence, what is the plan for the parking, and what is the commitment to that?
The plan and commitment is to relocate the parking, and right now we're in discussions with the DOE looking at that site that I pointed out before, which is behind the tennis court and the area, I guess, behind the tennis court and before the, I guess it's, I don't know if it's a softball field or the other buildings there. There is open space there. So that's the location that we're thinking of. We don't have the details ironed out, but that is the location that we're discussing right now.
And they must be replaced.
According to our request for proposal, the project has to, if something is, if some area is taken over, then we are responsible for providing a replacement for it.
And does that go down to the amount of stalls of parking?
That I'm not sure of. I'm not sure of, but
Okay,
I would
let's
think,
hope, at
let's
least.
hope, right.
Okay, I just wanted to remind the board, because that was a conversation that the SFA shared a year ago when they did their first presentation. It's a one-to-one replacement, to say it plainly, right? Okay, we're going to continue Q&A. Sir, you wanted to ask a question? And so please come up to the microphone and introduce yourself and go ahead with your questions.
By coming at it from a different angle. Hello, Chair, board members. My name is Mitchell Tainanis. I'm here representing the Hawaii Regional Council of Carpenters. As a carpenter, we build communities, and we know that a strong community depends on stable, supported workers. That includes teachers who shape the next generation of Hawaii's workforce. Right now, too many educators are being priced out, some commuting from far outside their school district, some taking extra jobs, and some are leaving the island entirely. When we lose teachers, we lose experience, consistency, and the relationship our students rely on. The Mililani Teachers Workforce Housing Project directly addresses that challenge. It uses state lands and public-private partnership and a nonprofit developer with a track record of delivering affordable and workforce housing for all four counties. It is exactly the kind of practical approach Hawaii needs more of. Sorry. little bit under the weather. We're also glad to see the SFA and Pacific Housing took time to listen. Moving the project from the upper campus to the lower campus came directly from the Mililani community's feedback. And with the environmental assessment beginning soon, there will continue to be more opportunities for the neighborhood to stay involved. From the union's perspective, the project benefits teachers, families, and a broader community. Strong schools require stable educators, and stable educators need housing they can afford. HRCC, the Hawaii Regional Council of Carpenters, is proud to support this project because it strengthens Mililani today and builds a foundation for the future. Mahalo for the opportunity to speak. One more thing. I remember you saying it's a partnership, over the years. And another question was, who's going to be the contractor? We're going to make sure that it's going to be local. And we want to talk about a partnership. It was a union contractor. It took 43 years to build out Mililani. So if you were a apprentice back then, you could have retired, worked, and lived in Mililani. And we have members that have done that as well.
Hey, watch out. Some people might grumble on their houses.
Bring it on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the community, members of the board who have any questions that they'd like to share? Okay. For board members, it has to be in a formal question for the OIP. Anybody else before I go a second round? Seeing none, go ahead.
Have you thought about putting a second level of parking on the open parking spaces? As you've heard, parking is a big concern in Mililani. I'd hate for the reputation of this project to be downgraded because parking becomes a problem. Could we put additional stalls on a second level?
We did not consider going 2 stories of parking. Again, it's something to think about. I think, again, worrying about the height and bulk and mass, it's just going to, exacerbate, I think, what we're hearing, which is to try to keep the building in terms of its overall height as low as we possibly could.
I would just look at your project and try to squeeze as many parking stalls as possible in just to help the community concerns.
Yeah.
It would be my comment.
All right, last chance, folks. Final questions, and board and members of the audience can actually ask questions and provide comments too. So, sir, you want to speak? No, you're saying goodbye. Okay. Yeah, please come up to the microphone and introduce yourself for the record.
Aloha Board Chair. My name is Lee Wang. I'm Executive Director for Housing Hawaii's Future. We're a nonprofit that advocates for affordable housing on behalf of the next generation. Just want to say we really applaud the effort and the collaboration between the Mililani Neighborhood Board as well as SFA and developer. I think the conversation has gone really well and both sides have collaborated really well. I just want to point out the kind of impact of this conversation. What happens here sets a huge precedence, because if this is successful, this can lead to a lot of positive outcomes for a lot of other neighborhoods as well. And Mililani can be the trailblazer as to becoming that model that other places follow. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of young people watching and looking at the outcome of what's going to happen here tonight, because this is, for me, my in-laws live right down the street. Mililani is our aunties, our uncles, grandmas, grandpas, moms, dads, and how you guys have come together to support and the questions you've asked really shape whether this will happen or not. And so just know that impact is being seen and that impact is being felt. And I think the impact of whether the community decides that aesthetics are more important or function is more important really is going to be the end goal here. To me, what makes Mililani is not the buildings. It's not the extra big Toyota forerunners that, you know, we need more parking for, right? It's the people. And I think the positive impacts that this has will ripple out. From here, we talked about safety. The thing that makes areas safety is body heat, right? 94 more families that can walk right across the street, that use the sidewalks, that go to dinner right across day and night, makes it safer for everyone here in Mililani. This project isn't perfect, but no project is perfect, but it's such a positive impact for the community because it benefits teachers, the families, and the entire community. So really applaud the conversation that's going forward and hope that continues as time moves on.
Thank you, sir. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. I think that's an appropriate time to close this conversation. I think we've had a lot of very good discussion for the last 45 minutes. And I'm going to end this how we began this presentation. It's a long-term relationship, right? This is affordable housing, where Pacific Housing is going to be here in Mililani for the foreseeable future when this project is built. And this is a working relationship back and forth. I can tell that hearing from our community members and our community board that everyone cares. We care about our community. We care about our safety. We care about the safety of the residents of this proposed facility, right? And we care about the aesthetics and design, and we want to make sure that it is affordable, right? That's been the common theme, to summarize exactly the last speaker. And so I do appreciate everyone's time for coming out here tonight as to share your concerns. I want to also relay that and thank the School Facilities Authority and Pacific Housing, where but even before they created or they opened up the draft environmental assessment process, you folks reached out to our board as well as other community leaders in the Mililani area for a pre-assessment response of this project. And, you know, working in complete transparency, Sherry, you have a line item on our agenda. And so our board did submit a pre-assessment response, and it really does summarize all the occurrences, all the conversations, not only to this board, but at the School Facility Authority's own 12 community meetings that you hosted last year. And I really do believe that your meetings in working with our community helped broker this project to the lower campus, and we're going to continue that. So I do appreciate your time. I do look forward to School Facilities Authority and Pacific Housing holding a community meeting on your own, where hopefully in January or February of next year, where you can send a mailer to community residents or contact community residents and hold your own community meeting so that everyone is well aware of this project coming up and support it, so that, right, we can continue moving forward with this project where area resident concerns are mitigated and people feel heard, and we can move forward with this. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you. No, that was yes. We're going to need that for sunshine law. Yes. This is a sunshine law compliant meeting, so your PowerPoint presentation will need to be submitted to the city and county, and it will be uploaded on our board agenda and Google Drive. Thank you, Member Ross. Okay, we're going to move on to the second presentation tonight. The final presentation of the additional dog-friendly parks in Mililani. For context, the City and County of Honolulu Department of Parks and Recreation contacted our neighborhood board and all neighborhood boards across the island of Oahu to establish current existing parks in our various districts to become dog-friendly. So the City and County Department of Parks and Recreation asked our neighborhood board to reach out to the Mililani community, and our esteemed Parks and Recreation Committee Chair, Sabrina Gustafson, has led the charge creating a community survey. Last month, board members, you may recall, she did a presentation on her current findings. This is going to be your final findings of the survey results. We're not going to have a lot of discussion on that. We're going to have discussion on the motion later on in the agenda. So we're going to keep this one quick. Okay. Without further ado, go ahead, Sabrina.
Okay, so this is just a presentation on the survey results. So just a reminder, these are the parks available in Mililani based on the city and county information. Next slide. Survey came through. I had 111 people respond total. It says 110 because one person said they don't want dog-friendly parks anywhere. So out of the 110 people that said that they want a dog-friendly park, I took these numbers and took the ones that had 70% or more. So that's 80 to 100 people. And then the next slide, 20 people said that they didn't want a dog park on these parks. So I took these top parks and then combined the list. And this is the last one. Next slide. So parks with over 70% were Mililani District Park, 16 acres, 10 acres, the Town Center Park next to the YMCA, Kipapa Neighborhood Park, and Mililani Neighborhood Park. Of those parks, the parks that people said they didn't want it at and had high number, I cross-referenced those. So the parks that don't overlap with the no's is Mililani District Park, 10 acres, and Kipapa Neighborhood Park. End of presentation.
Thank you. Questions to the presentation, not debate on dog-friendly parks. Are there any questions related to Sabrina's findings and presentation? Raise your hand. Okay. Seeing and hearing none. No questions. All right. We're going to move into board business now, board members. So this is only closed to board members. There was a motion that was offered in October that we put on the agenda for this month. I might have misunderstood the motion that the Mililani-Waipi'o Mililani Neighborhood Board number 25 recommends that the city Department of Parks and Recreation establish at least one on-leash dog-friendly park in Mililani town. I was contacted by the maker of the motion, Sabrina Gustafson, and understand that I may have misunderstood that. So I'm going to open this up. It was already moved and seconded from October. Sabrina, do you have some clarification to this motion?
Yeah, according to NCO, she said that we can just wipe that out and just start over. So the motion is based on last month's meeting, the feedback and interest of time. I'm going to do it in two parts. So the first part is I move that the Mililani-Waipi'o Mililani Neighborhood Board number 25 increase the number of on-leash dog-friendly parks in Mililani. So that's just a yes or no. Yes, we increase. No, we don't.
Second.
Okay, discussion to the motion on increasing dog-friendly parks in Mililani. Did I get that right? Okay. Discussion, members. Please raise your hand. Okay. No discussion. We're going to recognize Rachel for the vote.
I'm going to do a roll call just to get the attendance. Okay. Rana? Okay. Not here. Catherine Ozawa?
No, we're voting.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Harmati?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Inouye?
Yes.
Thank you. Flores?
Yep.
Yes. Freed?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Pasifin?
Yes.
Thank you. Kaanehe? Not here. Pana Aki? Not here. Kim? Yes. Okay. Ka'a? Yes. Tarsha Lee?
Aye.
Thank you. Marilyn Lee?
No.
No. Okay. Nagamine? Okay, not here. Alex Ozawa? Okay, not here. Park?
No.
No. Okay. Ross?
Yes.
Yes. Segura?
Yes.
Yes. Smart?
No.
No. Okay. And then Cersina?
No.
No. Okay. And then Kennard?
Yes.
Yes. Williams? Not there? Okay. Bass?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that is 13 yeses, 4 noes, 0 abstains. This first motion does pass.
Okay, so now that the motion is passed that we are going to increase the number of on-leash dog-friendly parks, I move that the Mililani-Waipi'o Milimanu Neighborhood Board number 25 recommend to the City and County Department of Recreation, Parks and Rec, that District Park, 10 acres, and Kipapa Neighborhood Park be designated on-leash dog-friendly parks. And this is in response to the survey that was done and completed by 111 people.
Second.
Hey, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion to this motion, members? Please raise your hand. Elise, I see your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I guess I didn't understand what Sabrina said earlier in terms of the number of parks that could be designated dog leash parks or whatever. And I thought the district park was one that people had said no, a lot of it. So I'm a little confused about those
there were no
statistics that you put out
limitations.
earlier.
Yeah, there were no limitations by city and county saying which parks we could, which parks we couldn't. Last month, in the interest of being fair to other people, I said personally I wasn't recommending Mililani District Park because I thought that was a very touchy park to recommend. But based on the survey, the top result was that they wanted a dog-friendly park at Mililani District Park. And 89 people out of the 111 said that they wanted Mililani District Park. So I was just falling in line with what the community wanted.
All right. Yeah, I didn't understand that slide, I guess. So
Right,
we're
so I
only
changed
you're
my
recommending
opinion.
that we only go with the 3.
Correct. Right. Because of if you see the top list of the top list, park number 4, 16 acres was the highest no in the 20 people that said no. So they didn't want it at 16 acres. So in kind of compromising with both sides, I picked the 3 that didn't have high no's.
What about all the other parks?
The data was less than 70% on them wanting a dog leash park. So I didn't want to shoot for the moon. I mean, I'd love all these parks to be dog friendly, but I wanted to be reasonable. So I picked the 3.
Rachel, could
Okay,
you go back a slide, I guess, to show those bar graphs?
So that's no. So they don't want dog friendly leashed parks at these parks. So you can see 10 people didn't want it at number 7, which is the YMCA park, which was a concern of several of our board members. And then Mililani District Park, number 10, 7 people didn't want it there. So 7 is less than the 8 and 9 and the 10 of the other parks. That's less than 35%.
So then would we lose the Wa'ena?
No, that
Part.
one's not even here because that's the vote was to increase the number, not decrease. So we don't even have to address that.
Okay.
Martina, you have a question?
Oh, no, not a question, but discussion.
Oh, discussion. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm in support of the motion because Sabrina provided data that provides data that supports the 3 parks with limited no's. So that's a solid reason for supporting. And then the second reason is having dog on leash parks and actually off leash parks, which is not a part of the motion, but a separate discussion, improves socializing and gives the opportunity for dog training, which in turns which in turn results in better behavior for animals. I know that was a concern. Animal behavior was a concern, and having dog-friendly parks would result in better behavior. And then 3, dog owners are taxpayers and they should have equal access to parks. So, yeah.
Okay. Further discussion, Dennis.
My concern is we're looking at these parks, but I guess my concern would be what areas in those parks are you going to do the dog friendly? Are you just going to let people bring the dogs with leashes?
Yeah, so there is no restriction on the dog friendly area within the city and county park. Once the park is open to dogs and unleashed dogs, they have access to the whole park except the restroom areas or the health and safety areas or courts, basketball courts, tennis courts, the areas that you can't have certain equipment or certain behaviors on. So the grassy areas would be what would be open to them.
Okay. I do have a question on that. Mililani District Park is always busy. And my concern would be that perhaps all you need is one incident where a dog on a leash or maybe even off a leash injure kids that are playing in the district park, no matter where. And that would be my concern about that particular park, but the others are, not as bad a issue. And I'm not sure we have a big sample of people voting one way or the other. That's the other thing I have.
These are good questions. And it reminds me that Dennis and Mary Mary specifically asked questions last month that I promised to follow up on. So just for clarity and transparency, I did reach out to the Department of Parks and Recreation regarding questions about on leash and off leash, as well as the dog waste bags, since we had some significant discussion on that. And in terms of on leash and off leash, what I was informed by the Department of Parks and Recreation is if our board makes a recommendation to that we have some on leash dog friendly parks, all they'll do is put some kind of sticker on their existing sign. I believe Emil had a question on that last month. And so they're going to just show that this park is now accessible to dogs and their owners so long that they are on leash. If a dog is found off leash, any citizen is able to contact HPD to note the violation of that dog being off leash, to address Dennis's point. And also, to close the conversation on dog waste bags, while Mililani Town Association does provide dog waste bags across Mililani, specifically, they won't be able to provide it at the city and county property park. So in conversation with the Department of Parks and Recreation, they are open and they will pilot a dog waste station similar to what MTA provides, but it'll look a little different. They are looking at compost friendly bags, so it's environmentally friendly and it can degrade if when necessary. So I hope that covers a lot of the questions that we had in October, and I hope that addresses some of your questions. Okay, I see Emil has his hand up. Go ahead, Emil.
Yes, just a comment about the parks which already have playgrounds. Does it mean we're gonna be fencing those playgrounds instead of waiting for the accidents to happen? I yield.
That did not come in the conversation with DPR.
Yeah, 10 acres doesn't have a playground. Mililani District Park has a playground next to the skate park, which is pretty far from the open field, so I wouldn't consider that to be a problem. And then Kipapa, I don't know about Kipapa. I think Kipapa has a park a playground that's fenced on one side in between the baseball diamond and the park, but I'm not sure.
But again, this dog will be on a leash.
But the dog will be on a leash. And of course, I'm expecting adults to supervise their children as well as dog owners supervise their dogs. And not making the dog park dog friendly has no bearing on somebody illegally walking their dog in the park and causing these problems.
Thank you. Further discussion? Please raise your hand. Okay. Seeing no further discussion, we're gonna take it to a vote. Sabrina, why don't you restate the motion for everyone's awareness, and then we'll kick it over to Rachel for the vote.
Okay. I move the Mililani-Waipi'o Meliamanu Neighborhood Board number 25 recommend that the City Department of Parks and Recreation establish Mililani District Park, 10 acres, and Kipapa Neighborhood Park as on-leash dog-friendly parks.
Just for everybody's awareness, for this motion to pass, I need at least 12. Okay. When I call your name, cast your vote. Rana? Not here. Catherine Ozawa?
Aye.
Yes, thank you. Karmati?
Yes.
Thank you. Inouye?
Aye.
Thank you. Flores? Aye. Freed?
Yes.
Thank you. Gustafin?
Yes.
Thank you. Kanehe? Here. Kaapanaaki? Here. Kim?
No.
No. Thank you. Pupuka'a?
Yes.
Yes. Darsha Lee?
Aye.
Thank you. Marilyn Lee?
No.
No. Nagamine? Here. Alex Ozawa? I think not here. Park? No. Okay. And then Ross?
Aye.
Thank you. Segura?
Yes.
Thank you. Smart? Yeah, not
No.
here.
No.
Oh, you're here. Okay, thank you. So that's 4. Okay. Kennard?
Aye.
Thank you. Williams? Not here. And then Bass?
Aye.
Thank you.
How about Regina?
Oh, let me see. Where are you on here? Let me double check. Can you get me your vote? What is yours?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay, let me see. Oh, okay, I had you for no. Hold on, sorry, let me fix that. Okay, so with that, I have 12 ayes, 4 noes, and 1 abstain. So this motion does pass.
Wow, the controversy of dog parks, people.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you making a decision at this meeting. We can put this matter to rest.
We can.
Thank you.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow up with a letter to the City and County Department of Parks and Recreation. Their deadline was on Friday, so we beat that. Good job. And I will provide them with the voting results of our board, and also recommend that our parks participate in the pilot program of dog waste bags to be consistent with the rest of the Mililani community. Okay, we're going to move on to reports of chairs and board committees. I have no report. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to Kate, Community Partnerships and Community Outreach.
Hi, I've been updating the neighborhood board Instagram as called for. We've had a few posts, mostly about food distribution for those in need, and the recent noise cameras that are being installed across the island. That's all I have.
Thank you, Kate. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move. Josie's not here for Community Recognition and Service Awards. Ken and Skylar for Community Maintenance and Walk Audit.
I have some road issues that were reported to me that I have to check out.
And we do have access to the online form. So I'm probably going to be trying to get that back to Kate so that way she can post it on Instagram. So that way anybody from Mililani can post on there, get attachment to the form so we can start communicating with our city and county, try to get whatever we can fixed.
Excellent. Any questions for Ken or Skylar, members? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on. Trevor's not here for planning. Ed for transportation and OMPO.
Metropolitan Board did not have community involvement, so we're looking for East.
Okay, any questions for Ed? Seeing none. All right, Dennis for military affairs and emergency management.
No report, but Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir. Any questions for Dennis? Okay, moving on to Darsha, health, houselessness, and human services.
No report, Chair. I'm reminding people about the of there are many places that will be having Thanksgiving. Food bags are being given out at all of the food banks if people are still in need.
Thank you, Darsha. Any questions for Darsha?
I have just a clarification from last month. Darsha, you mentioned not last month, but the month before that there was some homeless issues at Rec 3. I had somebody question whether or not it was Rec 3 or the park next to Rec 3. Can you clarify that?
It was the park next to Rec 3. And I
Thank you.
forwarded those concerns already to the houseless outreach that they are following up.
Okay. And then did you see in the minutes from last month, we had 2 people come regarding homeless individuals next to the tunnel of Cam Highway?
I can take a look over there as well.
Okay, perfect.
I did not see that, but I can take a look.
Okay, they were in the minutes of their presentation.
All right, further questions for Darsha? Seeing and hearing none, we're going to move on to Parks and Rec. Sabrina.
No further report.
Okay. Questions for Sabrina? And last but not least, Marilyn for education.
Thank you. I have some news from Mililani-Waipi'o, Principal Jake Kardash. Their annual event is being held on Friday, 11/21. So it's from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. and is open to the public. Time is for students and families to interact. It's open to the public. There will be 20 food vendors, games, crafts, and entertainment. No dogs, though. Mililani-Waipi'o's Holiday Mystery Mansion and Winter Wonderland event on December 5th and 6th from 5:30 to 9. Again, family fun activities, games and prizes, food trucks, and it's open to the public. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Are there any questions for Marilyn in her educational report, members? Okay, seeing none. I'm going to move on to elected officials reports. I don't see Nestor online for Congressman Case. Is there, and I don't see Tony online for Governor Green's office. Is there another representative for Governor Green? Okay, seeing none. I do see Jocelyn Doan online though for Mayor Rick Blangiardi's report. Jocelyn,
Aloha.
welcome.
Aloha, everybody. Thanks again for having me. I'm just trying to navigate like my 10,000 open tabs so I can get you guys my updates. Sorry. Give me 1 second. I thought I was better at this than apparently I am. Okay, here we go. So I wanted to highlight a few things from the mayor's November newsletter. I think we discussed at the last 2 meetings, the Skylines segment 2 opening. As a reminder, 4 new stations have been added, which includes Pearl Harbor and the airport. And it ends at Middle Street. The bus has started new express lines. So folks that want to take it to Middle Street can more easily get to downtown and Waikiki. Some folks may notice as a lot of the public starts making their way to Honolulu Hale for the holidays that the city has started repairs on the municipal parking structure there. That's the parking for Honolulu Hale as well as Fosse Municipal. Lots of people go there for permits, etc. But the parking lot is going to still be open during that time. But you'll sort of see that half of the lawn is going to be closed. And I'll share a little bit more about how we're going to be celebrating Christmas in light of that in a minute. And then Mayor wanted to remind folks that the new sewer rates are going to start on January 1st. We do have a lot of exciting things happening for Christmas. November 28th, Friday, which is next Friday already, is Kaliki Makaho'omau, which is a holiday concert with the Royal Hawaiian Band. It's going to be at the Blaisdell Concert Hall. It's free to the public. It starts at 7, doors open at 6. It's first come, first serve, but there are thousands of tickets available. So we'd love if you'd all join us. In addition to the Royal Hawaiian Band, Raiatea Helm, Karen Kiawe Hawaii, and many other special guests will be there. We're also going to be illuminating Thomas Square Park for concert goers before and after the performance. Honolulu City Lights starts the next evening, which is Saturday, November 29th. There's a block party that starts on Punch Bowl. I think a lot of folks line up earlier in the day. And the traditional tree lighting ceremony is going to start at 6. It's the same time that Thomas Square is going to be illuminated. And then right after the tree lighting ceremony, the parade, the Public Workers Electric Light Parade, goes down King Street, which starts at 6:15. Throughout December, the City Department Holiday Tree Exhibition is going to be going on at Hale, so bring your family. I'm super excited about our tree. The theme this year is Navigating by the Stars, so it's super cool stuff going on there. And in addition to that, because of all the construction going on for the parking structure, the show Aloha Land, which was kind of like the different light tunnels and the illuminated trees and the keiki train rides and the craft and food vendors, is actually going to be at Thomas Square. So we're going to have an extended holiday Honolulu City Lights this year. So there's going to be stuff at the Hale, and there's going to be stuff at Thomas Square. In addition to that, Kapolei City Lights is going to return the following Saturday, which is December 6th. There's a big block party, lots of entertainment, lots of food, lots of vendors from 5 to 9. And then the parade starts at 5:30. There were a couple things that were brought up last week that I wanted to make sure to give a response to. Both of these items, there was a lot of discussion about at the last meeting, but I just wanted to make sure we circled back around. So I know a couple members had talked about lost mail or checks for the DMV for our car registration. I think Member Smart had shared her neighbor had submitted it and had waited for over a month. So it looks like we haven't had lost mail, but I guess there was like an IT issue that was causing some delays in processing the registration. That issue has been resolved. However, I did want to be honest and share, it's November 20th. Is it the 20th today? 19th. And I actually didn't get my registration in the mail yet, even though I sent it in mid-October. And so, I reached out because I knew I was going to be talking to you guys tonight. And I was like, I want to be honest about what's going on there. So, there still was an issue apparently so folks have experienced delays this month. It looks like they've set that in motion. I know folks are wanting to avoid the credit card fees, which I personally am also trying to do, which is why I also mail a check. And they're looking at different options so that we could register online and not have to pay the fee. So they're exploring that, which I urge them to do. The other thing I think that came up, Member Freed had brought up the Charter Commission and wanting to sort of watch out for charter proposals regarding the neighborhood board system. I think at the last meeting, I shared the links. Apparently, there's an Excel spreadsheet with all the proposals that have been submitted. I'm going to share that link as well. There are some neighborhood board proposals. I haven't looked at it closely, but super easy if you want to take a look and just Control F neighborhood or neighborhood board in the proposals. It looks like over 250 proposals were submitted on a bunch of topics, but I just wanted to share with you that specific link because it'll be easier if folks want to check out what is being suggested. And I think that's it for me. Thank you.
That's a lot, Jocelyn. Are there any questions, members? Skylar.
Hi, Jocelyn. I was wondering if you could send me an email or contact me so we can get you access to the neighborhood boardwalk information, so that way we can try to get some of these city roads and signs replaced. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Further questions for our mayor's rep? Sir, please approach the microphone. State your name for the record.
Mitchell Tainanes. Hi, Jocelyn. Just a question. Meula Parkway, in going in and out, the trees in the middle, in the median, there's the roots that's expanding onto the Meula Parkway with all the, the asphalt ripping up. Is there anything in the books to fix that? Because it's only going to get worse. People's alignment's going to get broken, and I'm kind of dreading if somebody with one motorcycle, e-bike, or whatever hit that and the
Sure.
roots and.
So
Thank you.
Meheula Parkway is pretty lengthy. Are there specific parts or intersections you'd like for me to ask DFM and DTS to take a look at?
When you get off the freeway to 16 acres.
Okay. Actually, that's where I grew up, right over there. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
You start there and then work your way down because the tree's gonna go both ways.
Sure.
Just ride up, you'll find it.
Thank you.
Perhaps we can expand on that. We could have, is there a way we could have DFM come just drive down Meheula Parkway and look at all the routes from the freeway all the way down to Lani Kohana at the end by the Ag Park?
I will ask. Thank you.
Instead of you having to react to certain intersections of Meheula Parkway.
Sure.
Okay, any other questions for Mayor's Rep? Okay, seeing none. We'll see you next year, Jocelyn.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see you at Honolulu Hale for the winning
Yes.
tree, which is going to be us, I think.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you. Aloha.
Okay, next up, I see that Councilmember Val Okimoto has her staff online. Aaron?
Hi, good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and board members. This is Aaron Wilson with the Office of Councilmember Okimoto. This month's report has been posted in the chat. Some of the highlights here. Your concerns have been heard. On November 5th, the council passed the following bills and resolutions. Reso 25-305 requests DPP to decline the previously approved conditional use permit minor for Kamanui agribusiness, and making that null and void or denying any more modifications to that current permit minor. Bill 62, CD1 relates to the amendments to bed and breakfast home and transient units, unit standards and requirements, which were inadvertently admitted under Ordinance 25-2. Bill 5 addresses the farm animal control by adding a new article to Chapter 12 of the revised ordinances of Honolulu. The Committee on Budget met yesterday. Bill 55 establishes fees for developers to administer the city and county of Honolulu's multi-family rental housing program. Bill 63 amends the requirements of the low-income housing dedication for residential use, adds an annual reporting requirement, provides a home exemption to those who rent out homes to long-term in a long-term fashion. And Bill 64 requires the mayor to submit a report on appropriations. At the same time, budget documents are submitted pursuant to the city charter. The council member does plan to participate in the Christmas parade this year and hopes to see you there. I think that's all. So happy holidays and welcome to take back any questions.
Thank you, Aaron. Members of the board, members of the committee, are there any questions for Councilmember Okimoto's office? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Okay, I see that. Wait, hold on. Leitani is here for Councilmember Wire's office. Can you hear us okay?
Yep, can hear you great. Mahalo, Chair. Aloha, Leitani
please proceed.
Peltier, filling in for Kelly Anaya, representing Councilmember Wire. Just a few things to report. First, mahalo to everyone who made it out to Wahiawa for the Veterans Day Parade. We're so profoundly grateful for the service and sacrifice of our veterans, as well as for the strong community network that supports them following their military service. At the end of October, Councilmember Wire participated in the blessing ceremony for the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic in Mililani, celebrating 5 years of providing mental health care for veteran service members and their families. And, this is just one small example of that support network that exists, and we appreciate all the work they're doing and all the work others are doing as well. On a different note, as the mayor's rep reported earlier, City Skyline opened up its second segment last month. Looking at the ridership data from October, before the new segment opened up, ridership was around 2,000 rides a day on the weekends and between 4,000 to 5,000 rides a day on weekdays. Rides jumped to around 10,000 a day after the new segment opened. And actually during that free weekend of the 18th and the 19th, rides were up to 20,000 a day, which is exciting to hear that's they're getting more participation in that. In order to improve connections between the bus and Skyline for commuters from across Central Oahu and the North Shore, the Department of Transportation Services is advancing plans for a new bus transit center adjacent to the Waiava station in Pearl City. The department is also planning for a dedicated freeway ramp to link the H2 southbound directly to Kamehameha Highway at the Waiava station, which will help reduce traffic in the area and improve access to Skyline. Design for both projects is expected to be completed next year. I'll paste a link to our newsletter in the chat. There's also some resources for community resources for food security in there. I'll paste that in right after I'm done with this, but that concludes my report, and I'm very happy to take back any questions to council member.
Members of the board, members of the community, are there any questions for Council Member Wire's office? I see Anne has her hand up, followed by Skylar. Go ahead, Anne.
Yeah, I've been trying to be quiet so we get through. Yeah, do that forever. So Matt has been very helpful with this problem with the zip line up on the North Shore. So this is probably for the mayor's rep as well. It's not clear to me. I think I read in Civil Beat that the company has gone in for a modified permit now that they've been denied this. So what is the status? I mean, most of us would like to see this thing dead entirely. Is it dead entirely, or are they still moving forward with some kind of zip line?
It's still kicking, unfortunately. So
so we got to pay attention, is what you're telling me.
Yes. So I'll just note really quickly that the applicant received the conditional use permit to do a project up there, which included that gondola. They later put in an application to modify their original CUP minor. They canceled that application and then put in a new revised application for a CUP minor. So it's kind of the same position. We are hopeful that the DPP will get back to us on this very soon before the end of the year. I think in committee, I think they did mention that they should get an answer to us shortly.
So do you have any prognostications as to how this is going to go?
I don't know, but I'll say that it's a hot topic. A lot of people have weighed in on it, and a lot of neighborhood boards have introduced resolutions in opposition. Yeah, so it's a lot of people are against it, and very few people are in favor of it.
Okay. Let's hope they listen, as they did not listen on Coa Ridge. Yeah, thank you.
Tani, could you elaborate? I believe Council Chair Tommy Waters and City and County Honolulu Council Planning Chair, Committee Chair Esther Kia Aina co-introduced a resolution urging the City and County DPP to negate the DPP's previous authorizations of a CUP minor modification, as well as reconsider previous action and urge the DPP to, I guess, decline the project. I do recall Neighborhood Board Chair Pahinui reaching out to our board asking for testimony, which I obliged by just providing our resolution that we passed earlier this year. But could you elaborate a bit on that so that Anne and our board is aware of that resolution?
Sure. Yeah. I don't have it exactly in front of me, and Aaron, or excuse me, Councilmember Okimoto's rep did mention it as well. But Chair Tommy Waters and Zoning and Planning Chair Esther Kiaina co-introduced a resolution, basically doing that, urging the DPP to deny the minor modification request, and also to, I believe, to deny the underlying existing CUP. And that resolution did pass through council. There was a lot of testimony in support of that resolution and testimony against the project. The decision lies wholly with the DPP. It's not a permit that comes before council for anything. So that's why they opined on it. And so the resolution urges the DPP to take a hard look at it. It doesn't itself negate the permit, but it was very helpful in getting all that testimony and community out to share their perspectives and weigh in a very public and formal manner. So we're hopeful that DPP will given, and sorry, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but one of the very helpful pieces of testimony that came in was from the military, and they expressed several different concerns about the project in relation to their operations out there. And it sounded like that may have been new information to the DPP, or at least a change in their tone on their opposition. So we're hopeful that when all is said and done, the DPP will look at this holistically and decide that that is, in fact, not an appropriate place for those types of activities.
Thank you. And just to clarify, the Honolulu City Council is opposed to the project now and bypassing that resolution.
Yes, through that resolution, I would say that that is correct. The Honolulu City Council's position is in opposition to that project.
Awesome. Thank you. Hope that clarifies some of Anne's concerns. Skylar, you had a question.
So sorry, you were talking about how they were going to make a dedicated line from H2 onto Cam Highway for Skyline. I was confused on how or what that proposal was, seeing how right now there is the road that was opened on October 16th for the U-turn lane coming off of H1 westbound, going back Kamehameha eastbound, which would connect to the offshoot from Kamehameha Highway. So I was wondering what are you guys looking at doing on the city roads for that one? Sorry.
Yeah, so so the DTS, Department of Transportation Services, will be planning a new bus transit center adjacent to the station there. And then in addition to that, they're planning for a dedicated freeway ramp to link the H2 southbound directly to Kamehameha Highway and the Waiava station. I'm not exactly sure about the specifics of what that'll look like, but I'm sure we can dig up some documents from the departments and send that over to perhaps the neighborhood board to disperse out.
So you're looking at connecting H2 to a Waiava station, which there's no real location of where that's going to be or where in that general area there is. Because right now you get off the H2 at the LCC exit, you make the U-turn to come back down towards Kamehameha Highway, go back southbound. You then continue on Kamehameha Highway all the way to as you're going right up before Sam's Club, and then you got to make the U-turn right after the LCC turn to come back westbound on H1 to then make another U-turn to go eastbound on Kamehameha to line you up with the Waiava station. So I'm a little confused on how you guys are going to be adjusting those federal. It was under the assumption that U-turn coming off of H1 westbound was the access for H2, and now you're saying they're going to make another access for the Waiava station as well.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna do some work there to make that situation a little less complicated. Hopefully.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Councilmember Wyer's office? Okay, seeing none. Thank you so much, Leisani, for all of those answers.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, is there a representative here on behalf of Senator Michelle Kidani's office? Okay, seeing none, she did distribute a report, so it's available at your desks. Next, I see that Charles is online for Senator Dela Cruz's office. Please proceed.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair and Board. Charles Miller here from Senator Dela Cruz's office. Just a quick report. The DOE and City and County Mililani Middle Parking Agreement, the MOA is back currently with DOE and they're currently reviewing it. And then Senator attended the Wahiwa Veterans Parade. Senator also participated in the groundbreaking at the Central Wahoo Agriculture Food Hub. And then Senator attended and spoke at the Central Wahoo Job Fair. And I would just like to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday season. That's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the board, members of the committee, are there any questions for Senator Dela Cruz's office tonight? Okay. Seeing and hearing none. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, next up, I see we have a representative from Representative Lauren Matsumoto's office here tonight. Welcome.
Aloha, Chair and members of the board. Thanks for allowing me to take this opportunity to provide a written update from Representative Matsumoto. I regret that I'm unable to attend this month's meeting in person due to previously scheduled off-island conference commitments. However, I remain fully engaged in the important discussion taking place in our community. Last week, I had the opportunity to meet virtually with the SFA and Willem Group to receive their updated teacher housing presentation that we saw today. I appreciate the thoughtful adjustments they've made to the plans after listening to the concerns from the community. It's clear that they have taken residents' feedback seriously, and the revisions reflect a sincere effort to be responsive, collaborative, and mindful of the neighborhood's character and needs. I look forward to continuing this dialogue as we work together to support both our educators and our community as a whole. Please feel free to reach out to my office if additional questions arise or if we can provide further clarification. In addition, we want to share that I've extended the deadline for my pre-session community survey to December 31. This extension will allow more time for residents to provide feedback as we prepare for the upcoming legislative session. Your input is invaluable, and I encourage everyone to participate and share their thoughts. Mahalo for your time.
Thank you. Members of the board, members of the committee, are there any questions for Representative Matsumoto's office at this time? Seeing none, thank you. Happy holidays. Representative La Chica is here. Thank you.
Aloha, good evening, Chair, members of the board, members online. TOSA, my staff members also online listening. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. Wanted to just share with you, it's been a busy month, just going on a lot of visits related to my committee, so higher education, visiting community colleges across the island for education, visiting schools both here and the neighbor islands, just listening to a lot of our school leadership, being able to see what they're doing well, some of the challenges they're experiencing, some of the things that we can help advocate for, facility improvements as well. But there's just a lot of inspiration in what the kids have been doing, especially in the areas of career academies, a lot of very passionate teachers, just volunteering their time. Mililani-Waipi'o has grown from a handful of clubs to, I believe, more than almost 15 clubs now, and they're all volunteering their time to after school hours. So it's just wonderful to see that. We're not yet done, so we're continuing to schedule all of those visits. So thank you to DOE for helping with all of that, and to my staff too. I got a chance to also visit with Building Blocks Hawaii. So this is the nonprofit organization that former principal Corinne Yogi had helped to co-found. So they're really assisting with early literacy, and they're helping with a lot of low-income community members, preparing them for preschool. together with Representative Matsumoto, we helped to celebrate 5 years of the Kohen Community Clinic up in Mililani, Mauka. They had celebrated and also welcomed a new vendor, Endeavors, which they will be continuing to provide mental health care services, but also wraparound services for their veterans, family members, service members, but also including housing, job placement, homeless support services. And then finally, mahalo to everybody who responded to our legislative survey. We are currently analyzing the results. The survey closed. We had it open for about 2.5 months. The survey had closed this past 15th, on the 15th. So once we're done with that, we will share the results with you. But it's been really, really great just reading through all of the comments and the feedback that we've received so far. And then we are going to be having a end of year community talk story. We're still lining up the speakers for that one, but that will be on December 15th at 5:30 p.m. So just save the date on that one. Once we have everyone confirmed, we'll send out an RSVP for that one. So that's it, and open to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Representative Lachica. Members of the board, members of the committee, are there any questions for the representative? Seeing none. Happy holidays. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
happy Thanksgiving. Everybody enjoy your holiday season with your loved ones and family members. I will see you next year.
Thank you. I see Representative Peruso's online. Welcome.
Aloha, good evening. So just a quick update from our office. I've been spending a lot of this month working on legislation around protecting our ag lands and providing for our most vulnerable. We've seen, with the recent changes in the federal administration's policies around, as we've talked about multiple times, around SNAP and Medicaid, we're going to have more people who are experiencing food insecurity. So I think in this recent moment, we had a chance to ask some hard questions about our local sources of food. So kind of fundamental to establishing more security is looking at our ag land. And we are seeing rapid loss of ag land primarily to development. And, the gondola project came up. It is that kind of problematic project that really characterizes a lot of what's happening in the rest of my district out towards Kaena Point. So we have a package of about 7 bills that we intend to introduce surrounding kind of protection of ag land and support for young farmers. So, and I think, also I will say that my legislative work, the learning part and the working with advocates, opportunities have really arisen in the space of waste management. So I'm becoming something of garbage girl, learning a lot about extended producer responsibility and reuse, and how we can, we're working with my chair to think about how we can reform our bottle bill as we move towards introducing more EPR. So that's really what I've been working on. And we will be having a food distribution with the food bank on December 20th at Ka'ala Elementary. Just to give folks a heads up about that. We know that people are still not whole. So I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Representative Peruso. Members of the board, members of the committee, are there any questions for Representative Peruso tonight? Seeing none. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, we're going to go into announcements with 2 minutes left before 9. The NCO wanted to remind that the NCO is collecting donated children's toys for Toys for Tots at a toy drive at tonight's meeting. And if you can't make it to tonight's meeting, you can drop it off at NCO. Second, our next board meeting, we will be recessed in December. So happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. Our next scheduled board meeting will be Wednesday, January 28th, 2026, 7 p.m. here at H Building and online. And also, you can watch these broadcasts on Olelo Channel 49 every second Thursday and Channel 54 every first and third Saturday. With that, members, thank you for being here tonight. We are adjourned.